All right, greetings, salutations, Wax Chronicles. We are back, and as you can see here, we have a very eminently special and important guest. You have heard his name a lot of times. This is J-Man. This is the J-Man, the Big Jess Boski, Jesse Valanciunas, Chandler Parsons,
Baby
Dr.
J.
Baby J, Dr. J. You name it, that's who he is. It's Jesse, folks. So Jesse, say a few words to the kind people, since you are, in fact, have been a member of Wax Chronicles Collective for a long time.
I'm still waiting on that video from the Wax Chronicles I
In the
submitted.
archives, dude.
It's in the archives. Yeah. I actually bought a nice box of cards and it's still have yet to see it.
That's the private stock, dude. I saved that for the spank bank, dog.
All right. Well, my name is Jesse. I've been best friends with Tanner and Bailey for years. When I'm on here, I'm not as savvy as them when it comes to like basketball knowledge of like the inner workings of team dynamics and GMs and head coaches and stuff like that. But huge basketball fan. I fell in love with the game at an early age. Mainly like just a stat tracker. Love just to like watch games, look at stats, stuff like that. But yeah, I met Tanner. You might be able to remember this, Tanner. It was first grade. I know that everybody played football at recess. And I don't know if it was you first or me first, but I was just like, I remember like one day I was like, I want to play basketball. I don't want to play football.
It was you. It was you. And I think that I'm glad
I know it was me.
Yeah, I know. You knew I knew it was you. But I think, yeah, that's something that's important to bring up. Jesse deserves a lot of credit here. Like
that's a great jumping off point.
Yeah, there was a lot of period of time where I know, personally speaking, that football was like the sport that I predominantly was interested in. But I think like the catalyst, like Jesse's the one who put it in motion. Like that was kind of like the forming of the storm cloud that was going to be my NBA fandom, was like playing with Jesse. And then, that evolved slowly into what it is now and what it is for all of us. And like, I can't say necessarily that Bailey had the same influence, like I had the same influence on Bailey, or Jesse had the same influence on Bailey, but I know that Jesse had that influence on me, that like everybody played football at recess, and Jesse was literally the only one who's like, he was shooting hoops. He just went and shot hoops. And I don't know. It's funny now because like you look back on these things, like if I saw, like as a grown up, if I saw somebody shooting hoops on, I would not go try and be friends with them. Like I would try and find the hoop farthest away from them and shoot by myself.
Yeah.
But, back in the day when you're an innocent kid, like I saw Jesse shooting, I was like, we ended up, that was the beginning of a lifelong brotherhood, and where we are, where we're at now, and it all started just because of basketball. So I mean, that's what basketball is. It's like it's the ultimate unifier. It's knows no languages, no boundaries. It's literally a beautiful thing.
Well, and like just to piggyback on that, the idea of like, just being a kid and walking up to a hoop that somebody's already shooting on, even now, like it is awkward like as an adult, but there's a couple times where it's like you'll clank one and like, the guy who's shooting on the hoop with you, like you'll see a smirk at, and then like, I don't know, there's just a rapport and like I don't know. It is a unifier, and it's like, you don't necessarily all come from the same walk of life, but like on the basketball court, we all have a common, prism to see the world through and stuff. So it's, no wonder why lifelong friendships and bonds are formed there.
Yeah. And that's like, it's hard to remember back. I do remember like first grade shooting hoops. I remember Tanner comes over, and I swear it's like from day one, I was like, this is my best friend. Like, just like the day you came over, I was like, all right,
that's what we're doing now. Yeah. Oh, wait, we haven't even
all is life.
Wait, we're like 4 minutes in and we haven't even mentioned that he's actually Chandler Parsons. What the heck?
Yeah, no, we actually are, I know people
a big get for the pod.
Yeah, no, this is our first major guest. I know you guys have seen the news articles about Chandler Parsons. I think he was on, well, I guess you could speak for this, Chandler. You were on TMZ a couple days ago getting asked, how the rehab and recovery is going, and if you're still looking to get back to the NBA. It sounds like
a little salty about being snubbed from the 75, the NBA 75. Thought I really had an in there, but
yeah, I mean, I guess this is a good chance for you to come out and announce like your intentions are in fact to still like play in the NBA, correct?
Yeah, I'll be a 3-and-D guy.
Get there. Oh gosh, no, that's been a running joke for years now for people who obviously don't know. But
we should have done a better job preparing this because Jesse had a pair of glasses that looked exactly like the glasses that Chandler Parsons was wearing in that picture.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, it looked, if you would have, we did the experiment. If you told me that was Jesse, I would have been like, okay, yeah.
Well, no, we actually did the experiment. Our dad has known Jesse for how long? 25
since he was knee-high
years.
To a samurai, dude.
25 years. He's known you. He's literally seen you grow up as from a child to a grown man. And I showed my dad a picture of Chandler Parsons, and it was just lucky enough that he was wearing a similar style hat that J-Man usually wears, similar like sunglasses. And my dad legitimately thought the picture of Chandler Parsons was you. He couldn't be shook from the thought of it. So we'll have to get that one pulled up, make that the one-time special thumbnail, just a totally out of context picture of our work. Not out of context. He's our guest, for Christ's sake.
I'll take care of it in post. Yeah, Chandler, I know. It's the least we can do, dude. Have such a major star on this podcast. At least put him in the thumbnail.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
All right. Well, I think there's some more detail we're going to go into on our friendships and our, kind of basketball.
Chandler's basketball journey all the way from the University of Florida.
Yeah.
Getting drafted by Houston. We're going to go through it all.
Cover it from top to bottom, dude.
Yeah.
But before that, I think we're going to talk about some of the kind of the pressing NBA news. I got duped by this once, and I think I'm getting duped by it again. But the Damian Lillard news kind of broke today. I guess yesterday and today. Seems like with the Neil Olshey resignation or firing, however you want to characterize that.
Firing. Is it a firing?
Forced resignation.
Yeah. We all know what it is. He
was voluntold to get the fuck out.
Yeah. Bye. And then, with some news trickling out about players, maybe not being all in on the Chauncey Billups hiring. And
there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah. Even to today, like I don't want to put the, cart in front of the horse, but Shams Charania broke the story that, Dame wants to play with Ben Simmons, which, it doesn't take a mind reader to understand what he's saying. Find a way to trade for Ben Simmons, and that's probably going to mean CJ McCollum because the Sixers are not going to want to take back,
allegedly.
No, there's potential 2 for 3-way deals. Like who knows?
Yeah, it's out there, but I don't know. It's just tricky. Dame has a reputation of being, leader, perfect leader, a great guy to build your team around. But
dude, his song, he even has a song called Loyal to the Soil.
I know, but then, with this, and then it just, where there's smoke, there's fire. And at any other time Shams Charania reports something, NBA Phantom takes it as gospel. So why is it when Lillard's name is in there, we're supposed to say, oh, now magically Shams is wrong when we accept everything he says at face value? So for Lillard to kind of come back and say, oh no, it's all BS, like these media dudes, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, all right, maybe the truth is.
I think the reason for that probably is because Lillard, for as long as I can remember in his career, has avoided any type of saying anything that sparks any controversy whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there's pushback on this because if everything that's being said is true, it's really out of character for him. So yeah, that's kind of because that was my first thought. I was like, I read that today on my lunch break and I was hesitant. And I was like, he doesn't seem like the type of person that would oust his teammate and say because I automatically assumed McCollum as well.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, why would you want to play with Ben Simmons? But
most importantly,
yeah, this is coming from an NBA vet.
This guy knows what it takes. Okay.
He's been in the trenches.
So that was my initial thought. I was like, I don't know, but I wasn't aware that the person that broke this is wrong. So
him and Woj are basically their word is as
Woj
good
bombs.
as anybody's. Yeah. So sorry to cut you off, bro.
No, you're good. I just think that, like the question you posed, Bailey, is, if Shams says A, B, C, D, and E are true, why would we think that F is untrue?
Why is it only when it's Lillard that we're like, oh no?
But to Jesse's point, I think at this point, I almost feel like there's so much smoke, there has to be fire with what went on in the summer as well. But at the same time, with Jesse's point, is the reason the reason I'm not fully committed to believing it is because Dame is not like anybody else. Dame is like, he is the most loyal superstar in the NBA at this point. And you can't tell me anything else. Cause like, it's easy to call Steph loyal. It's easy to call Draymond loyal. It's like, it's easy to be loyal when you win titles in your contention every year. But Dame has stayed there through thick and thin.
He's not asking to leave though. He's asking them to bring people in. Like, he's still being loyal to the soil. It's like
no, but I mean,
that's a good point.
But I think loyal to the soil means not just loyal to the franchise,
but
loyal
the people,
to your guys, loyal to
like CJ's been like a brother to him.
Yeah, CJ's been you'd have to fact check me on this, but CJ's been his teammate for the longest in his entire career. Like that is like, I don't know how, like, I will say through interactions you see with them, like on social media and stuff, they seem to be friendly. Like they seem to get along. Obviously, like they have, like this isn't an original thought at all, but like their game overlaps to an extent where it's continued to be a question, like, can this be sustainable? Can this work? Can this happen at a high level? And it, like, obviously it doesn't seem like it can at this point, but it's like, I don't know, man. I just, it's hard to question Dame Lillard. I can't do it.
Maybe I'm letting, like, because like the thought of like splitting up like the brotherhood of like two players that like it's like DeRozan and Lowry. It's like that stuff breaks my heart. So maybe I'm just like I don't know, lashing out against Dame because, like, I don't know. I have like, and I especially have an affinity for those pairings that have a fatal flaw. So I mean, it's like the Sabonis Turner thing. It's like people have been calling for them to get traded. I've done it at a time or two in my own, but it's just like, at the end of the day, I love both those players and I just want to see them on the court together. Like, maybe that's why I'm like having a hard time with it and like finally wanting to poo-poo Dame for something. But
I would say it's especially the pairs where they like each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like, we want to do this together, we just fucking can't.
Yeah, I mean,
that
that's
makes
the
it
best.
so much worse. Where like when they're when they like each other and they obviously have maybe not on court chemistry to the point you want to see, but they'd have like the off court chemistry. You hate to see it be broken up, but like I try to put myself in Dame's shoes, who is a legit superstar, and he's been snubbed from about every accolade you can possibly think of, and to be good for so long but never great. Dame is great, but the Blazers.
Right.
Yeah, they've never found great team success.
Can you imagine the frustration to be close that many times, but just never have enough oomph to get over the hump? Like, God damn.
Yeah, I mean, that's a thing of the past. You know, he's the last of a dying breed. Those guys don't stick around like that anymore. That's for sure.
So I can see it both ways, and I can't say for sure what's right or what's wrong, but I mean, I can see if he did if he said something out of frustration. I mean, you look at the Blazers right now, it's like turmoil. They fire their GM, they bring in this controversial head coach. Stuff's not really working out the way they thought it would. They're kind of sliding compared to where they have been the last few years. I mean, I can see him saying something and not trying to oust anybody, but everybody can read between the lines. So I can see that, but at the same time, I can see telephone happening as well, where it's like he said one thing, it got, this person said one, this person said one, and it just gets.
I wonder how much of these headlines that get reported on are truly that, where it's like Dame said one thing to one guy in confidence, and then that guy misconstrued it a little bit, and then it's 4 links down the chain away, and then it's maybe this huge headline. It's like, okay, it was rooted in truth, but it's really not. Like,
yeah, because like, how much are we reading into this? Like, if you ask Dame Lillard, would you like to play with LeBron James? He'd say yes. That doesn't mean he's like, yeah, I want to trade Nurkic, I want to trade CJ McCollum for
sell
LeBron.
The farm.
Yeah. It's like, no, it's like, of course if he thinks Ben Simmons is a good player, I think it's fair to say, yeah, I'd like to play with Ben Simmons.
Yeah. Well, I guess the next question leading to Ben Simmons, I mean, he's directly involved with this. What did you think about him? I guess he liked something on Instagram or a tweet, or he liked Dame's tweet maybe.
But yeah, he did. Or he liked a post about Dame's tweet, I think. But I want to ask you guys one more question though about like this is I think a broader question. I'm asking this question specifically, but I think it has implications for the broader whole of NBA journalism and reporting. But it's like, I forget, I don't know, I can't remember who reported on it during the summer, but it was rumored that Dame Lillard wanted Chauncey Billups as a head coach. It was like, I believe it was either Chauncey Billups or Jason Kidd. He's like, I want one of these two guys to be the next head coach after they fired Terry Stotts. And so I have a hard time believing that Dame Lillard would sour on Chauncey Billups, somebody that apparently he had a friendship with prior to Chauncey being head coach. I have a hard time believing his relationship would sour that far with Chauncey in 24 games to be like, you know what, fuck this. I can't have this guy as my coach. This ain't gonna work. When it's like Neil O'Shea has put a roster in front of with the Blazers that's been the same or nearly the same for 5-6 years.
Yeah.
And he's blamed everybody, but he's blamed the coaches, he's blamed the players, he's done all this. And it's like, I guess my broader question is, do you believe like that the Dame stuff was overblown in the beginning, that he actually wanted Chauncey as a coach? Do you think B, it's true that he doesn't want Chauncey to be there now? Do you think C, it's all the above, where it's like, yeah, I did want Chauncey, I don't want him now? I mean, what do you guys think? Because like, I think that's a broader question. Because like, I don't know who reported that he wanted Chauncey in the beginning, but it's like, I have a hard time believing so much like Dame of all people would be polar opposite.
Wishy-washy.
Like, I want Chauncey, get him out of here. I don't believe it. I just don't believe it.
Yeah. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Shaman? I mean, where do you think the truth lies on that? I mean, it's all going to be conjecture. I mean, none of us are connected, but
when did the stuff come out with Chauncey about, like, didn't he have some controversy come out?
Well, yeah, he had the allegations long before, and then now that he's
Boston
in contention for hiring, now
it came to the surface again.
Yeah, exactly that.
This is, I mean, obviously all speculation. I don't have the answers, but I guess my initial gut feeling is that maybe he did say something along the lines that, in the summer where he's like, he'd like J Kidd or Chauncey Billups. And now that it's being resurfaced again, maybe he's had second thoughts, like with the climate, the way it is, and like how you have to like mind your P's and Q's. And maybe he's kind of backtracked a little bit. God, it's hard to say. Like,
yeah. I think
I hold him to such a high standard that it's like, it's hard for me to go against it. Like, I take his word as gospel. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah.
He tweeted something today. I was telling you about it, Bailey, that he was like, man, stuff gets blown out of proportion. So I'm inclined to believe that. So maybe there is some very slight, like he did mention, yeah, I'd like Chauncey or J Kidd. Now that they have Chauncey, maybe he's like, there is some stuff there that maybe we need to look at and consider, or I don't know. It's
so really hard to say on the coaching stuff, just because, I mean, I don't know. Like, who knows where the kernel of truth lies? Was it, in confidence, Lillard was asked about a couple coaching candidates and he said, like, yeah, it'd be cool to like check those two guys out? Or was it like, hire them or I'm out? Like, there's a spectrum on the, like, I guess how, and it seems like, when these stories leak, Dame always ends up, downplaying them, and the media ends up, kind of overplaying their hand a little bit. But I don't know. It'll just be, I hope this is one of those things that eventually Dame, comes to peace with his decisions and can talk to it. He's one guy that I would desperately want to know, like, his thoughts on the game, his thoughts on staying in Portland. Like, he's the type of guy you dream about getting an autobiography of when it's all said and done, I think. So I don't know. Hopefully it's just, another, maybe a stepping stone to the next chapter for Dame. But I guess that leads me to my question to you guys is, how do you think this saga is going to play out? The Dame
saga.
Yeah. The Damian Lillard, kind of Ben Simmons, kind of CJ McCollum. Where do you think it ends up, and where do you want it to end up? I'll pose two questions to both of you.
Damian, go for it.
Mine are in line. The way I think it's going to line up is the way I want it to line up, and I think they're going to make a change. I think they are going to probably dump McCollum.
Do you like the idea of bringing Ben Simmons in?
No, absolutely not. But they got to do something different, and if that's the first step into doing something different, by all means do it. I mean, if it doesn't work out, try something new, because I just want to see Dame. I want him to win a title. I just like,
or at least be truly competitive for one.
Yes.
Like fighting for one.
And they're not right now. So I think there's enough turmoil going on in the front office there that something is going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be the right move. I don't think Ben Simmons is the right move. I think he feels pretty toxic to any organization at this point. And maybe that could be wrong, but
until Ben proves otherwise.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Burden's
feel
on
like
him.
Something's gonna have to change for them to be competitive, and
Yeah.
the organization wants that. I'm sure Dame wants that. And I'm sure McCollum and him are close enough that
No hard
I don't.
feelings kind of thing.
I mean, maybe it may hurt a little bit, sting a little bit at first, but I don't think it's going to be anything that's detrimental, like like you see on court feuds with them and stuff.
Well, that's why I keep like bending it back towards that Ben Simmons, and maybe I'm showing my hand here, but like something built around the Ben Simmons, CJ McCollum trade. I like it for most of the parties involved. If we're just being totally honest, like it feels good for CJ McCollum. He gets to play next to JoJo and compete for titles. Like, I mean, they wouldn't be the favorites. They'd still be a move away probably, but who knows? I mean, JoJo on a run could, I don't know.
And that's it's the same thing with like the Blazers. I don't think it's the right call for the Blazers. I think it'll be a lateral move at best, but it's a move, and it shows that they're willing to do what it takes to. I mean, Dame has proven he's loyal to Portland. He's loyal to that fan base. He's loyal to that city. Now the Blazers need to prove to him that they're willing to do what it takes to put him in a position to win.
Yeah.
So if it's lateral, it's at least a step saying, hey, we're willing to do something.
Yeah. What about you, bro?
Yeah, I want to piggyback off what Jesse just said, because I think that was like, it almost feels like that's the exact same situation the Bucks were just in. And was it John Hammond? He's like, you know what?
John Horst.
John Horst. Who's John Hammond?
He was old like Magic.
Was he? Okay, John Horst. Thank you for correcting me on that. It feels like the Bucks were in that exact same spot. It's like you want to show your superstar, yes, sign a supermax here, stay here. We will try our best. And it couldn't have worked out better for the Bucks. They end up winning a title, but it's like, I think to Jesse's point, like the Blazers are kind of in that spot. It's like Dame's giving you his loyalty. He sacrificed a lot of winning. He sacrificed, going to a bigger market. And like, I don't know how much that matters because Dame just doesn't seem like that type of guy to me. But, the Blazers do need to show like, and I think this is kind of why there was such an outcry from Blazers fans for such a long time about Neil Olshey, about how, from their perspective, how terrible of a GM he is or was. And not just for like the workplace stuff, but with like the lack of moves and like overpaying guys like Myers Leonard and like just like not putting anything.
You can't miss on that many free agent pickups.
Yeah. And like
it's just a stagnant team.
Yeah, exactly. And like to be stagnant with like Dame Lillard, one of the best players in the league. CJ McCollum, one of the best, second fiddles in the league, like that, or maybe, top 5 shooting guard in the league. And like to have that and like, we made some decent, like Nurkic is a good player, but like to not make anything that really moves the needle to like really, like you said, he's like, it seems like if Neil Olshey was still there, they'd be happy being the same team they've been for the past 3 years. It's like, we catch some breaks this year, some teams are hurt, maybe we can take a 4 seed and I don't know, get to the second round. Like that seems like it's been their ultimate ceiling. I know they made the Western Conference that year, in that wacky year, but but anyway, to answer your question, bro, like I think to what you were saying, I agree with that. In terms of like, if Ben Simmons goes to Portland, that has been their fatal flaw for years is perimeter defense.
Yeah, they need a better point of attack defender.
Yeah, CJ McCollum can't stop anything. Like Dame Lillard can't stop anything. No offense to him. Anthony Simons can't stop anything. And we've seen that bear out a number of times where like they just can't stop anything up top, and like that trickles down to the rest of the defense. And I think like Ben Simmons would be a nice addition there, but it's like you lose so much offense in CJ McCollum that I think he's a criminally underappreciated.
Oh my
gosh! Like,
gosh!
You see games where it's like games where Dame's not on. Like McCollum can be one of the scariest players in the league, like flat out when he's like hitting shots. And anyway, I'm getting very long-winded here, so let me just talk about the Sixers. But I think for the Sixers, it makes sense. Like I think if you add another reliable scorer with like you've seen Embiid go down. You've seen like Ben Simmons obviously hasn't played. Like they've been losing 2 of like former defensive player of the year candidates at one point in Ben Simmons, and like JoJo's obviously a DPOY candidate all the time. To have those players in and out of the lineup and still maintain the defense.
Oh my gosh!
They clearly have like the infrastructure in place and like the concepts in the team to be able to support a defender such as CJ McCollum and not lose that much. And so I think that it could be a win for both teams, but my hesitation is I think Daryl Morey's asking price is still too high at this point to be like, yeah, we'll take McCollum in a first round pick.
Yeah.
And, obviously I think that Daryl Morey's, expectations of what he gets back could change over time. But I feel like that's my hang up right now is like, without it being like a 3-team deal where he gets more assets, he's just has his head in the clouds, I feel like, about what he can get with Ben Simmons.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just wonder if it's going to be one of those things where he's playing his hand this way just to, keep up the illusion. And then eventually he's going to take, whatever the best deal this year that the market bears out.
Yeah.
They say all this stuff, the Sixers organization, they try to posture as like taking this as like some multi-year. I don't know if you guys have seen any of those quotes. Maybe I'm fabricating that, but like, it seems like they're like, yeah, we're not going to rush anything. It's like, you're just going to have $35 million in dead weight on your roster because you're holding out for a better deal. Like,
he's going to get dealt. If he's not going to play, he's going to get dealt.
You can say all this stuff like, we're not trying to rush it. We're looking for the best deal possible, but there is going to be a timeline on that. You cannot if they extend that out over multiple years, this drama, everybody in that front office and organization deserves to be fired. Like, that is a disaster.
To bring it full circle with what Jesse mentioned, it's like, it's about time Portland owes Dame Lillard. It's like, you're going to run the risk of alienating Joel Embiid. It's like,
I don't know when his contract's up, but it'll be on the first train out.
Even then, it's like, I feel like JoJo's another very loyal player, but it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, oh, we're just going to have this second best player on the team. We can't get him to play. We're not going to trade him for another asset. So we're just going to sit here and not get the most out of one of the best players in the league in JoJo. Like, I'm sure he'll feel the type of way because he's obviously a competitive motherfucker based on like some of the things we've seen out of him. And so, like, how much do you run the risk of alienating him? Like, literally a once in a lifetime big man. And I don't know. There's just so much going on here, and there's so many layers to it from both sides. It's a crazy fucking situation.
Not to mention, sorry to get my Pacers plug in. Couldn't wait any longer. Granted, they beat the Wizards tonight. They're 10-16, but if there was ever a team primed to just sell like 3 top 75 players in the league today, the Pacers are uniquely equipped to do that. So not to, and I don't know if I even want them in on any deals. I want to keep this core together forever, but like, I don't know. I think there's going to be a few teams that are going to be willing to make some pretty big deals at the deadline this year. I don't know. It just feels that way. That's just bad intuition, but I don't know. I don't know.
There's enough teams underperforming right now that they're willing to do whatever.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see as time goes on, just how the play-in affects, the play-in tournament, how that affects the midseason trade market. But I don't know.
No, and I think to piggyback on Jesse's point about like, there's so many teams underperforming, in a weird way, it seems wide open almost in both conferences. So it's like, I think it incentivizes teams who are like, we're underperforming. We can turn this around. We just need to change something. I think it incentivizes them to be like, well, maybe not so much in the Western Conference at this point, but like the East. Well, I don't know. Maybe I've just thought myself out of that. But it feels like if things broke right for a team, they could break through, especially in the East.
Yeah.
And so I don't know.
And at the same time, this is how I see it too. Like, you have teams that they have to know that they're overperforming, that their record's better than they thought it would be at this point. So they've got to be motivated to make a move to improve as well, to keep the momentum going. I have no clue what's going to happen. Like, you look at the Grizzlies, in my opinion, the Grizzlies are overperforming. They're 14 and 10.
They're the 4 seed right now.
Yeah. I never thought that. You can't tell me that they're not looking out there how they can improve to keep the momentum going and get better.
Yeah. Add like an 8th man, another, wherever your deficiency lies, wherever you're lacking some depth. I don't know. It'll be a strange trade deadline. What were you going to say, bro?
Or just to like, even more like to like create more activity. I could see the flip side of that coin where it's like, you have these teams that are overperforming that have no intention of competing. And so like, you see it, like, I don't know how the fuck we talk about the Cavs every goddamn week on the podcast, but you look at a team like the Cavs, like Colin Sexton's out for the year. They have no intention of competing this year. This, like, where they're at, they're still like sitting, I think, in the play-in right now. And it's like, they don't plan on being here at the end. So you see a guy like Ricky Rubio, he seems literally ready-made to be traded at the deadline. You have this veteran guy who is playing well on a team that's overperforming, who wants to develop their young talent. And like, I'd almost put money on Ricky Rubio being traded because it's like they're not trying to win games. They're trying to develop their young guys, which is like good for them. And so like, what are you doing having a guy who's like Ricky Rubio's in his 30s?
Yeah.
And like
there's probably 5 or 10 contenders that would love to have him.
Oh my God, a backup point guard who is reliable, who can pass and like run an offense and stuff like. So I mean, maybe the Cavs are the best example I can think of that. Like the Wizards, I don't think they're going to try and sell because I think they're probably convinced that they can do something with this team. That's neither here nor there. I just think to put a bow on it, I think there's a lot of possibility for activity.
Yeah.
To all our points.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all agree on it. I think we all came to it through, maybe slightly different conclusions, but yeah, it's going to be next 2 months. I mean, especially because I think, December 15th is when some of those first contracts can start to be traded, come trade eligible. And then I think there's another deadline on January 15th. So people
15th deadline for.
I'm not sure. That's a blind spot of mine is some of the, fine details of the deadlines and some of the cap structure stuff and trade eligible
watch
stuff.
It be the quietest trade season ever.
Yeah,
like nobody moves.
Yeah. Just generating the hype for it, dude. Golly. But no, I don't know. I'm glad that discussion went to where it did. We talked about the larger NBA. Were there any other kind of, I guess, headlines of today we wanted to cover? I think there was a couple other.
You're talking about Kimba, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just I don't even know if there's much to mention there, but it's a guy we would probably consider being his late prime, a former All-Star, All NBA level player. Gets he's at his hometown playing for his hometown team, and he's out of the rotation. I don't know. It's just weird to see Kemba there. Obviously, the Knicks need to win some games. They're not they're a team built to win this year, and they need to win this year. So, they can't afford to sacrifice any games at any point with how competitive the East is going to be. But I don't know. It just made me sad. I love Kemba Walker. I hope he can. I don't want to see and not to say Isaiah Thomas's NBA story is done by any stretch, but that one made me sad, and I don't want to see another one like that. And I hope both those players can find, a role on a team somewhere, but I don't know. I want to know your guys' thoughts because that just bummed me out. So
go ahead, Tanner.
I don't know. I kind of see some parallel. It's just crazy how quick it all feels like it fell apart for him. Maybe not that quick. It's over the course of a couple of years, and it was different, it feels like, than IT's because Isaiah had like a serious injury that he's still kind of unable to shake. But Kim is just like,
it's like he had an injury, but he just hasn't been able to return to the player that he was. Like it's not it
didn't feel like Isaiah's though. Like Isaiah's a hip deal. It's seems like it's just never going to go away. But like Kimba, I forget, was it ankle stuff going on?
I think his might have been some hip stuff too.
Oh, was it hip? Oh, well, fuck me. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But speaking of which, John Hammond was the old Bucks exec.
Yeah, and then he went to the Magic. Yeah,
so
I did
right
fact
here.
check that. That's funny.
Fucking moron. Anyway, I don't know.
It's just a knee injury. It was just a knee injury.
Okay, because do you know exactly what it was? It's just weird that he went from literally like all-star level 3 years ago to now he's literally being benched for like Emmanuel Quickly.
Well, no, literally, yeah. I mean, 2018, 2019 is last year in Charlotte. 26, 6 and 4. Pretty crazy. Efficient for a small guard. 82 games. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I wonder if that knee injury did fuck him up, but I don't know. Like, it seems like, I mean, obviously we've seen the best of Kimba, which is unfortunate, but I don't know. It's hard to. It's just if you had told me 2 years ago, Kimba will be benched and won't even get off, like we'll be getting DNP CDs, I would say you are fucking crazy.
It just sucks, dude, because we always hear small guards break down after a certain age, and that only gets brought up to prove that CP3 is the point god. But it sucks that we get these. Period. Yeah, it sucks that we get these harsh reminders of why people say that. I don't want to try to write the eulogy on Kemba's career. I think he could probably still be an effective role player, if not a starter somewhere in the right situation. But it's just,
And then
I don't know.
I think you just said it right there. Like, yeah, Kemba had he had his moment. I was never really high on Kemba though. Like he was good, but I never like pinned him as like that impact player that can turn the
Well,
tide.
and
And
those teams never succeeded.
no, but
So
even in like his best years, like I was never high on him, and I'm definitely surprised he got a DNP coach's decision. That I mean, like he's definitely got more to give than that.
mhm.
But I just feel like not his time in the NBA is done, but his time being
In
like
the limelight, being a
like he is, in my opinion, he's not like, I would never ever want to build a team around Kemba Walker as my point guard. Or
maybe the book is closed on that
yeah,
chapter.
Well, to Jesse's point, like he mentioned, like, kind of being skeptical of Kimba is like, I think he has a fair point because, Kimba had all these great statistics in Charlotte, and then he goes to Celtic to Boston. And you're like, okay, you're telling me Kimba's going to be the third option? This team is going to be great. I mean,
Yeah.
he had injury problems, but it's like you added Kimba to the mix and nothing. The Celtics are still the same. It's not like they turn into some transcendent team when you added this. Like, I hesitate, like, I don't want to be mocking and say Kimba's not great, but like great basketball player in Kimba Walker. And it's like, I think Kimba's a really good player, but like he obviously isn't the third best player on a contending team. So,
Yeah.
well, I mean, that could be indicative of the first and second best player as well. So I don't know what to say, but I think that one thing that's important that we all keep in our minds is like Thibodeau is not the type of motherfucker who's going to be like, oh, you're a sieve on defense, we'll make it work. It's like, no, if you are not going to be
Yeah.
like
Buy into the system, execute the scheme, you're not
or
going to
like
get time.
a neutral defender, and like if you're going to be
Mhm.
so far negative, it's like, I don't care if you can score 14 a game off the bench and shoot 50%. If you're
Yeah.
if you're gonna screw up our defense, then you're not going to play. And I still think Kimba could carve out a role as like
Spark
even a
plug, bench score, maybe
yeah, or even like a spot starter. Like he could
mhm.
be. I still think he can be that level. But yeah, I think you know a huge factor of what he was accomplishing was based on playing in Charlotte for all those
Well,
years.
and he just can't get in the lane and elevate anymore. I don't know if it's the age. I don't know if it's the knee. I don't know what it is, but like I'd be interested to know what his free throw rate has done over the years and where his
That'd be
shot
interesting.
distribution is, because I don't like the Kemba that I know dicing into the lane, hitting freaking like floaters. And like, I don't know, he had crazy in the lane finishes. Like that was
Yeah,
part of his game for a long time. And I don't even remember the last time I saw him being that,
dynamic
jitterbug
slasher.
freaking, oh God, dude, he was incredible. And it's just,
Yeah,
I don't know if you can recoup that explosiveness and that jitterbug movement once it's
yeah,
gone.
and I know we've all kind of piled on him here, but like his peak in Charlotte when he was hitting like all these like, hitting crazy step backs and like game winners and stuff, like let's start the counter now. But that motherfucker had a nutsack on him the size of San Antonio, dude.
Dude,
Like he deserves credit for what he accomplished with such a poor supporting cast. And like
well, yeah.
to be a 26, 27 point per game scorer in the NBA when you have no supporting cast is like, you got to have a nutsack on you.
Well, it's like, I don't know, like not to go back to the Dame thing, but like if you replace them, if you put Kemba in Portland at the beginning of his career and Dame in Charlotte at the beginning of his, tell me how that ends up. I'm sure Dame's.
I'll push back on that, dude. Dame is so good, dude.
Let me at least finish. I was going to say, I think Dame's a better player, but like Kemba's not. He's not a slouch. Like his peak, he was in that like tier 1, probably tier 2 point guards, tier 1.5. Like never a great defender, but I don't know, man. This one just, it's not a headline you ever want to read. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean,
maybe New York's just not the answer for him either. Maybe it's maybe he just needs to find his role somewhere else. Maybe that's the whole issue is the system that New York has built doesn't work well with how he wants. Well,
and there's probably literally one coach in the NBA that would do this, and it just so happens that Kemba's on the team that has that one coach. Like I don't know. I don't think like most players like Kemba who have genuinely just treated everyone in the league great. He's a great teammate. Coaches love him. Like, I feel like
he seems like one of the best guys in the league, period.
I feel like even if another coach came to this conclusion, they would say, yeah, we're going to try to, have Kemba come in with our second unit, reinvigorate and like step down approach. It was like Kemba went from starter to DNP CD. Only one coach is going to do that. And I think that's why it stings. It's like, if it's a gradual step down, maybe it's not, maybe I'm not so fucking depressed about it, but just seeing that, I don't know, dude. I just don't like it.
I can see them doing something with him because like it sucks because it was a feel good story that like him coming to New York and playing like at home, but it's like he still has
Bing bong.
Yeah, shit. He still has something left to give. So it's like whether it's a buyout or a trade, like that motherfucker's he's not done yet.
Obviously, we haven't seen the last of him. Obviously,
and he deserves credit too. Again, he deserves more praise too. Like, let's not get twisted. Kim is a G, and I love that. I think we all love that motherfucker.
Did you even see what he said?
Yeah, that's what I was about to point out. I was like, he deserves credit for how he's handling this. And like, you had guys like, I hate to say anything negative about like AI, but like you have guys that like hesitate to take a step back as they get on in years, or like even Melo at the beginning. Like Melo's obviously doing different things now. But it's like you have these great transcendent players who are like, you know what? I feel like I could still bring it to the table. I'm not ready to take a step back. And Kemba is like the ultimate model of like what you want in your locker room. And like for this alone, like I think this proves that he's the type of guy that like, I don't care if he's like, he could be Udonis Haslem type of me. Like I want a guy like that on my team who can show what it's like to be a leader and what it's like to make it in the NBA.
Be a pro.
And be a pro. Like I don't care if he doesn't play a minute and he's 40 years old. If he wants to play, I would want him on my team.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been a high character guy, great teammate, one of the best. I mean, everybody loves him. So
who knows? Maybe this will light a fire. I don't know. Maybe he'll come out just like invigorated, like he just got maybe a reality check and he was slipping a little bit, and now he's gonna. Indiana
would appreciate cardiac Kemba. One lightly used Malcolm Brogdon. JK, I love you, Malcolm.
No.
All right. Well, I don't know. I guess sorry to get mopey and down about that one. Was there any other, I guess, current NBA news you guys saw wanted to throw out there? I'm trying to think. It's been a little bit quiet. I mean,
well, we could follow up on. We laid out the gauntlet last week on the Hawks, and if they escape the play-in or if they stay in the play-in, and what the wager would possibly be.
True.
And the Hawks are in the last 3 games are 1-2, so they're trending in the direction where I will win the wager. And I still don't think we have established what that would be. And so I don't know if we need to give it another week, but I think it's worth mentioning the Hawks fucking suck and they are not going to make it out of the play-in.
Yep.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm just telling you, dude. They lost again tonight, I believe. To no, wait, that was Charlotte. I'm always rooting against Charlotte.
They beat the T-Wolves, who've been looking really fucking good tonight.
Atlanta won. Dang, I did that. Well, Charlotte lost. I was happy about that because
one thing I
root against LaMelo for some reason. Like I don't have a problem with him, but
I like LaMelo, but I root against the Hornets. Yeah.
But I love Miles Bridges. He's like a top.
Oh yeah, their team's awesome. They got awesome players.
Speaking of which, I cannot remember a player that I saw like Miles Bridges where it seems like he'll go 5 points, 12 points, 35 points, 12 points, 14 points, 38 points.
Ultimate streaky scorer.
I tell you what, having him on my fantasy team, it's frustrating.
Hey, it all counts the same at the end of the week though, dude.
It all averages at 15. But it's just crazy. He's like,
and I'm 7-0. So
I just don't understand. Like he'll have games where he's just like, he literally looks like a star player. Like he's 12 or 16 hitting threes, doing windmill.
Looks like Vince, dude. He looks like prime fucking Air Canada Vince.
Yeah. The games where he's on, it looks like he gets whatever he wants whenever he wants.
Like, he looks like the most dynamic wing scorer in the fucking league, dude.
For real. He deserves
honestly.
He's so good.
Yeah.
Until he's not.
Until he has another 9.3 rebound performance.
Yeah.
Anyway. Well, I don't know if you had anything else you want to talk about, bro, but I think if you guys are ready, we
I don't know. I don't know if I want to mention anything, but do you guys have any worry about the season getting shut down due to COVID? Like, just give me a percentage, 0 to 100 on 3. Okay. Okay. Well, I saw the Hornets came down. 4 guys entered, and then DeRozan, and I don't know. Like, I haven't been keeping tabs on like the broader pandemic, but I don't know. Last time I was seeing shit like this, it led to some pretty unfortunate things in the NBA sphere. So I guess I'm a little more worried than you guys. I don't think it's anything substantial, but probably like 33%, 1 in 3.
I don't know. I just feel like the NBA having been through this already, knowing what it takes to like make a season happen, that they could, with between private flying and being able to, if they have to, no crowds, like that, everything's in place to handle another pandemic. I feel like, so that's what makes me believe it wouldn't shut down again.
Worst case scenario, they go back to bubble.
It would be like a short shutdown and then something. But the other, I just lost my train of thought. Wait, here's what I was gonna ask. Have you guys seen any highlights from like not even necessarily the bubble, but the first season back with no fans? Have you guys seen just like highlights from that time period? Do you get any?
I've watched a game, like that.
Do you guys get any weird sense of? I get a weird sense of nostalgia when I see bubble highlights. I'm not even kidding, dude. It was such a weird thing where it was like the only thing in the world I was focused on was literally basketball. Like, I don't know.
That's funny, dude. It's funny because I was thinking about that today. It's like there is going to be a fucking awesome book written about that someday, about like just all the things that were happening on a day-to-day basis and how it came together and how like it. Yeah.
Was it who was the Heat guy? Like was it
Jimmy
Tyler
Butler
Hero?
was selling the coffee?
No, was it Tyler Hero or Duncan Robinson that was just like went off in the bubble?
Tyler Hero.
Yeah,
Tyler
he had
Hero?
a couple huge moments.
He came out of nowhere and was like carrying that team for a minute.
Yeah, he had a huge game against the Celtics, right? Like 35 or something.
He was hitting clutch shots and stuff. He was, that was one of the things like last year where people were like pointing at him being like, this motherfucker was a fraud. He was not as good as he looked in the bubble, but like now we look at him, it's like motherfucker's actually legit.
Not to get into the nerd stuff, but I had that green Prism rookie, Panini Prism rookie card of his, and it jumped in value from like $150 to like 600, and then
good God,
after last season dropped down to like 150 again. So I don't know.
It's probably back to 600.
Yeah, it's just gonna sit in my shoebox. So collect some dust. Yeah,
good.
Shut up.
Put a rubber band on that motherfucker.
The OG way. All right. Well, I guess I don't know. I just wanted to gauge your guys' opinion on that one as well, because I don't think we've talked about it at all. So
yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it.
I haven't, I feel like I didn't watch. No, I did. I watched quite a few bubble games, but I haven't revisited them. It was weird. I hated watching them. I could not. I just couldn't do it. Especially like they added in like crowd sounds. I hated that. Like, don't do that.
It was definitely weird. It was definitely weird.
But then when you don't have crowd sounds and you could just hear the sneakers like squeaking, I was like, I don't like that either. I don't know. Like the energy, it just, for me, it wasn't there. It was hard. It's hard to get into.
It was very strange.
Different.
No denying that for sure. I guess I want to give you guys a homework assignment. J-Man, I'm not 100% sure if you're gonna be on the next recording, but at least be in the comments. I want you guys to go search some Şengün passing montages.
Oh God,
I know you've seen them, but like, I don't know, dude.
I'm writing this down.
It's very fun to watch. It's very fun to watch. Alperen Şengün, that Rockets rookie from Turkey, I think.
Yeah, the Rockets are about to win the title at this fucking rate.
Dude, they won 6 in a row.
Yeah, it's horse shit.
Yeah, unreal.
Unbelievable. Eric Gordon's looking like a number one option. Like, God damn.
Yeah, Jay Sean Tate, Kenyon Martin Jr.
Christian Wood's no slouch.
Yeah.
Somehow.
He's on the fantasy squad.
I got other question.
Can we talk about how I'm 7-0?
You already mentioned it.
It's a long season, that.
Yeah, dude. I'm just hitting my stride.
They literally handed me one. So, I literally saw the scoreboard. Anyway.
I might have stepped in and break you fuckers up, dude. Chill out. Well, crap. Let's jump back in. Whenever we bring anybody on the show, I think we want to start asking a couple standard questions.
We got to put them on the stand.
Yeah. We got a couple
hot stove.
And I'm sure every friend group that likes basketball has their own versions of these questions, but I'll just start with, I guess, the easiest one. At least I think the easiest one. Who do you think your spirit baller is? And just to
yes, there's a correct answer to this.
Yeah, there is. LeBron.
Bailey, what do you say?
I was just gonna. I'm sure we're the only people that watch this, but if there's anybody out there that doesn't know what a spirit baller is, it's kind of the player. Maybe you didn't even model your game after. Maybe you just had natural physical tools that were comparable to that player. Maybe I'm hinting at something. We're about to talk about it with that, but like a player maybe you emulated, maybe you just naturally played like them on the court. So that's what a spirit baller is. Bro, I think ours, who did we need to make a database, but
we settle on you for like late career DeMarcus Cousins or something.
Yeah,
maybe,
I think so.
And then me,
I think
was
Jokic got thrown out with him
Jokic
generously because of his passing ability out of the post.
We said late career C-Web as well.
Yeah, and then I think you
we
had
also said DeMarcus.
You also just
Rubio.
Shaq.
Yeah,
when we pure fucking power.
No, I remember mine. You mentioned Caruso, then we mentioned like late career Rubio, TJ McConnell, and late career Rondo.
Nice. All right. Well, J-Man, I guess
this will be exciting because we're gonna have to go more in depth and like. I mean, I think Jesse has the most obvious one out of everybody we play with, but like we need to search for more.
Well, yeah, I'm frustrated at myself for not doing more research. Well, yeah, J-Man, who do you think your spirit baller is?
So I have it broken down into two. Like my spirit baller is Josh Smith. Like I'm Josh Smith.
Hot.
I wanted it to be somebody different. I wanted it to be like a Larry Sanders with passing. Because believe it or not, as much as I did shoot, I'm not a shoot first guy. But playing with the group we played with, like I played with Tanner a lot, Bailey a lot. Tanner's definitely not a shoot first guy either. So somebody had to get points on the board. Tanner wasn't going to shoot. So I would shoot a lot and I'm not very efficient. But I wanted to be a big man that blocked shots and could grab boards and dunk and like finish at the rim, but could also like pass out of the post and like do some, flashy passing. But I don't know. I just turned the ball over a lot.
I want to tack one thing on the end of that. You're a guy who likes to be in the paint and around the rim on your own terms. That like
I don't like to be forced.
Yeah. You don't want to be down there just to trade paint unless we're just goofing, unless we're just fucking around. But that's why I don't know. I guess I project you slightly differently.
Tanner.
Do you have wait, I just thought of another one for you.
I have one.
Okay, well then go for it. You go first.
It's weird though, because I guess we'll start with it. Our friend group, you and I were two of the two tallest probably. So
I'm not a center though.
Well, here's the thing. I was gonna put you as like
Anthony Davis, dude.
Some weird Frankenstein of Antonio McDyess at different points in his career. You could bring down the hammer with some dunks. You could block some shots. I think
I got a way better one than this. Way better.
No. Have you played with J-Man?
Antonio McDyess?
The only thing I'll say, McDyess had range out to 15. J-Man extends it out further. He's like McDyess extrapolated on a modern game. That's the caveat that I'll put on that.
I can shoot 2 for 8 from 3. I can do that.
Because I don't think McDyess, as constructed, had the same range that J-Man has.
And McDyess was not a defender like Jesse plays defense at all.
Young McDyess, I don't think J-Man's the ultimate lockdown one-on-one defender. I think he's
I'm
more
not saying that either. No, I'm not saying
defense
that
is my weak spot. I hate playing like tenacious defense where you're like,
hey,
somebody's body. I hate that.
Young McDyess was explosive and could block shots. I don't know what version of him. That's why I think he's like 2 versions of McDyess in one for my money.
I push back.
All right. I want to hear it then, bitch. Fuck you.
Okay, so the player I'm about to say, it's this player, but with better passing. That's what I will stake my claim on, and that is Tyrus Thomas. Jesse, to me, plays like Tyrus Thomas in his prime with the Bulls. If you go back and look at his stats, I don't have them memorized. He could block shots. You can't put it over the top of him. He is long enough that you can't get by him no matter where you're at on the court. He has athleticism. He will dunk on people. He will block your shot. He can step out and shoot like a mid-range jump shot. And again, like I think Tyrus Thomas, that's my comparison falls off the rails because I can't sit here and pretend to say I know everything about Tyrus Thomas's passing abilities. But that's kind of the one spot where I'd say, oh, it's a mix of Tyrus Thomas and something else. But I see it with Tyrus Thomas, just the intimidating athleticism and length mixed with like, freaky-ish tendencies to just deter anything around the rim. But also not like you said, Bailey, I'm not trying to get down here and fight with, huge guys.
Bang.
And, try and box people out. That's not what I'm trying to do down here, but not to say he can't grab rebounds with those guys. And so I don't know, Tyrese Thomas's prime was he was obviously a meteor and he burned out quickly, but when he was actually playing, he did some things, dude. So I want to make it clear. I'm not saying Jesse burned out quickly, but I think
harsh.
Anyway, Tyrese Thomas was one that came to my mind. I think there's probably better comps we can come up with, but
hey, shut the fuck up and listen real quick.
I don't care how many blocks per game, man.
No. I pulled McDyess was a explosive athletic four that was never tasked with being the banging big. His prime, I think it was 98-9 lockout season, 21-11, 2.5 blocks, and over half of his shots were between 10 feet and the 3-point line. So that's where I'm saying extend the range out to a modern NBA game, because J-Man, I know you like to settle and shoot threes. I know you like to when you're tired. I seen it. I seen it. Because I made you tired.
No, but the thing was I feel like people always compared Blake Griffin, his play style, to Antonio McDyess's prime. And when I think about I love Antonio McDyess. I wasn't around to see his prime, where I was, but I wasn't a mature fan by any stretch. But when I think about early career Blake Griffin, I don't think about Jesse at all. No offense to Jesse. Jesse, that's just not how Jesse played.
Not the showboat he dunks. I mean, we're 6'4", 6'5" white kids from Montana.
Well, obviously, but when I called you Shaq, I wasn't talking about you dunking and shoving people. I was
but J-Man was the best dunker we had.
I know, but that doesn't mean that if
he was the best and most showboaty dunker we had.
Yeah, but at Garfield, I don't feel like Jesse was hammering it on everybody in McDyess. And so
that's fair.
And I feel like McDyess was also more of a pick and roll player. He was more of again, I'd be interested to look this up and see how much bullshit I'm actually spewing. But I feel like Jesse more creates for himself. And
okay, see that I just have a different opinion. I know I guess it depends on the setting. If we're playing 5-on-5 on a court, I feel like Jesse goes for a shot a little bit less. But if we're playing dunk ball or if we're playing a little more casual setting, I think he'll go for a shot more. Sorry to just have this weird meta conversation over your head while you're on the call, but it's very contentious, dude. This motherfucker is wrong,
Jesse,
dude.
Tell us what you think about these Tyrese Thomas and Antonio.
Yeah, break it up, dude.
I mean, they're both right. They both have good points. There's times where I play better pick and roll. There's times where it 100% depends on who I'm playing with. I feel like when Tanner and I play together, we have a certain synergy that we play with. And when I play with Bailey, we have something different that I think I try to adapt to how you play. And I think you probably try to adapt to how I play. And 100%, if we're playing 2-on-2, 3-on-3, I play differently than we do 5-on-5. I'm definitely more conservative of a player when we play 5-on-5. That is why I went Josh Smith, because I can be super streaky.
True.
There's games where I'll shoot 4 for 20, and then there's games where I'll shoot 17 for 22. I don't stop shooting. I'm always shooting 20 shots. But and I think Josh Smith. I don't like that one, but to me that's the most well-rounded one, because he would shoot threes, he could make threes, he could finish at the rim.
Yeah, he's like McDyess and Tyrese Thomas if we don't have to make all these weird one-off concessions. Maybe it's Occam's razor where the simplest answer is the right one. Yeah, it's you don't have to say
it's been Josh Smith forever. I thought we were in agreement.
Yeah, I was I'll stop being pretentious about this. It's just Josh Smith. It just is. I mean, it always has been.
We're trying to give something for the viewers, but it's we have a circular peg and a circular hole, and we're trying to find these other square pegs and cram them in. It's no, we had the perfect comparison. And it's the one we've been talking about for literally years.
Decades.
Literally for years that Jesse plays like Josh Smith, and that hasn't changed. And not he's to kind of pile on more praise. Jesse's a willing passer. I feel like Josh Smith was a willing passer. He deserves that credit. And I definitely don't feel like McDyess or Tyrese Thomas were passers to the level of Josh Smith.
Not at all.
Especially in the open floor. Josh Smith could do it all in the open floor if he's leading a break or something. But then, like, again, the one thing that I always like go back to is Jesse's second jump and his length and how hard it is.
I was wondering if the second jump would come up.
The craziest part too is like you have all his best tendencies and all his worst tendencies. It's wild. It's wild.
It's crazy. It's actually perfect.
It's like he's the guy who can just not figure it out, shoot 17 times and just brick fest. But then he's also the guy who can like, he just cashed like 6 threes and put your team out of the playoffs. And like that's the Josh Smith.
Yeah. In addition to a 5x5.
Yeah. Oh my God. I wonder, the Josh Smith, I wonder if there's anything with Karolinko there.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
That's a really good one. That's what we're looking for. Is like
AK-47.
He was such an awesome player though. Like Euro trash
with
to
the worst
death,
hair, dude.
Yeah.
The worst hair.
No, I almost respect the Euro trash.
No, Karolinko, he was averaging like looking at his early career. There's like I watched his highlight the other day, and this is gonna be complete guessing on how I remember, but he like blocked Kobe 4 times in like 2 possessions, or like 4 times in 1 possession, and it was like second year Karolinko was like, holy fuck, this motherfucker's.
It's crazy to me that he's just gonna be lost to time.
Yeah, there's another one.
He is one of the craziest. Beat the aliens team, dude.
Repeat everything you just said.
Yeah, I didn't hear a word you just said.
If he didn't have one all-star appearance, he would have been literally as much of a lock as Arvydas Sabonis for me for that question we posed a few weeks ago with the non-all-stars to beat the, save the world game.
This is our weekly thing that we say on this fucking podcast, but it's like he's another guy. It's like I want to know those guys throughout time.
Who's the Karolinko of the 70s?
Yeah.
Because he was there. It's Don Busey. So
I will say
much shorter though.
I think what kind of tainted me on Karolinko is, was there a worse team to root for during that time than the Jazz? God, they were the worst.
Darren Williams, Carlos Boozer, Mehmet Okur, Gordon Juracek.
One of my least favorite players of all time. I don't know why. Can't pinpoint it. Never liked him.
He pulled the rug out on LeBron like a bitch, dude.
Well, this could be a perfect segue on why Jesse hates the Jazz so much. One of the many reasons why he hates the Jazz so much. A lot of them fair. But really,
a lot of them fair. Let me clarify.
Suck, dude. Or they did. They're cool now. But anyway, Bailey, take it away. Why is this a perfect segue?
Wait, say that again.
Why is this a perfect segue? We were talking about the Jazz, and there was another question we wanted to ask Jesse, and I think it'll illustrate why he hates the Jazz so much. And I think if Jesse were to talk about his top 5 players of all time and his top 5 teams, it would lend color to why he hates the Jazz so much.
Very interesting.
Now that's, again, it's only a segue if you point it out and make it obvious.
Okay, top 5. I'm gonna start at number 5. There's probably going to be some surprise. Tanner, can you think of more than 3 for me of my top 5 players of all time?
I wouldn't. If I had to put, I have to think about it right now, but I would not know 4 or 5. Or maybe
I didn't know 4 or 5. To be honest with you, one was just at the end. Is like, you know what? He's my guy right now. I'm putting him in my top 5. He's my guy right now. Number 5 is Ja Morant. Dude, I love watching Ja play. I fucking love him.
We're not worthy.
Not to mention, if you Google image Ja Morant, there's a picture where he's in a black t-shirt, backwards black hat. Most attractive picture I've ever seen in my life.
Ooh, this is the hard-hitting content we come here for.
He's actually giving us what to search to find. That's so
yes.
This is what you're going to want to find.
It's not.
You're going to want to turn your safe search off. Okay, very crucial.
You know where incognito is?
Control Shift in. Control Shift in.
Number 2 is just because I think it's another player.
Number 4.
Number 4.
No,
sorry.
He's given second. No, he's given second reason. I thought you were giving a second reason about Ja Morant. Oh, okay.
No, I just fucking love him. I wish he would change his hair up a little bit, but that's fine.
He's in can do no wrong territory. For
agreed.
Me.
Agreed. And the fact that name one other motherfucker. He has literally the team one dreadlock that is the Grizzlies team colors.
Yeah.
Twisted up. Unbelievable.
Legend.
Nobody does that. Nobody.
Massive legend here.
Not to mention, I will side note, and this is running probably a little long, but side note, when we were in the hotel room, Bailey and Ja was winning the MVPs when we were doing our season, I was like,
yeah, we were playing 2K and John Morant was a couple years, dude.
I was like,
I want to live in that freaking
I know.
parallel
it's
universe.
going to be a reality about starting, I don't know, next year.
True. Later this
Motherfuckers are
year.
legit.
So number 4, another player that I feel like I would try to emulate a little bit is Stromile Swift.
Yeah.
What a hot boy. Jesse apparently is a Grizzlies fan, folks.
That's what I came to. Like, I came to this realization, like, the Grizzlies always have such a fucking cool team. Like, why? I've never been like a team guy. I'm just like a player guy, but why not the Grizzlies?
They have the coolest players ever.
Yeah.
Oh my God. They always have a cool team.
Always.
Tony Allen, Zebo, Marc Gasol, Mike Conley.
Yeah.
Sharif Abdur-Rahim.
Number 3 was my very first favorite player of all time. And that's AI, Allen Iverson.
Nice.
Okay, interesting. You do not have somebody on this list that I thought you would.
Ooh, maybe I forgot somebody. Allen Iverson, for obvious reasons. Dude's a G.
Yeah.
He is the Ken Griffey of basketball, in my opinion. Changed the game, changed the style.
Let's go.
Oh my God, yeah.
Literally brought it to like.
Shouts out to C Muscle, Kurt Coffin. We got baseball all over this pod, dude.
Yeah.
All over.
Like the back of this hoodie says your favorite player's favorite player, and that to me that's AI. Like
true.
He is like I loved him. I think that was my first pair of basketball shoes. It's like
I remember him.
Yeah. Loved it. Not much more to say about him.
Well, like let's I mean, we've talked about AI on this podcast a lot, but I think Jesse brought up a good point. It's like you look at all these motherfuckers who were born in like late 80s, early 90s. AI is the guy.
He's the guy.
That's what they say. It's like it wasn't like I think even LeBron said as much as like or like
wasn't Jordan, wasn't even necessarily Kobe. Kobe's for like the guys born in like 99.
Yeah,
later.
AI is the guy that's like, I mean, it's my favorite phrase in the world, dude. For the culture, dude. AI is for the culture, and he is literally always going to be like the beacon of what is right about the NBA. And like he encapsulates everything we love about basketball in one player, and he literally is just the ethos of like a basketball. And
it was more than basketball with him. It was like it was his style, his confidence, and I hate to say this word, but like the dude dripped with swagger. Like when he was on the floor, like he was never unsure of himself. And like as a little kid, you look up to that. Like it's just like there was nothing to not like.
Plus, I want to add one thing. Even as a kid, being very young, I understood from a very early age that AI was always doing it with like not the best help, and that always added to he was always the underdog.
Aaron McKee, dude.
Yeah, Aaron McKee, Eric Snow, like it was a bunch of like solid role players, a bunch of good like ninth men. I don't know. He's one of a kind, bro. If we ever do an edit, put Don Tripp, Allen Iverson on the back end of this pod, dude. Give the viewers a treat.
We'll see.
All right, it ain't happening. Go YouTube that if you're Don Tripp, Allen Iverson. Okay, that's it.
Number 2, Tanner. Do you have a guess on number 2?
Yeah, he's been mentioned in this podcast already.
Larry Sanders. Larry Sanders is my number 2. I fucking love that guy. His career ended way too soon.
Talk about burning bright, burning fast.
Yeah.
He I would kill for him to still be in the league, man. I loved watching him play. I would like almost like addictively look up his stats every night and see how many blocks he got. See if he scored 10 points to get his double. And I was all about it.
I remember those days. Yeah. It sucks, dude. He didn't need the game, but the game needs him.
Ain't that the truth?
I don't know if it was you Tanner, or Bailey. Yeah. Like I never did any really like looking into why he wasn't in the league anymore. I just figured, I heard the headlines. He violated the drug policies and all this stuff. And I kind of pinned him as like this bad guy that couldn't follow the rules, just couldn't figure out his life. And then I read into it and looked into it not too long ago. And he's like actually doing really well for himself right now. He's like got all these, businesses that he's a part of and stuff like that. But and he's like very charitable. But the only drug policy he ever violated was marijuana. And the only time he ever got caught is when he turned himself in because he was afraid of getting caught and he was afraid of the repercussions. And he, feels like he was unfairly treated.
Well, yeah. And then now it's like pot.
Yeah, now
sorry to just like dig
fine.
in, but it's like during the bubble, they pretty much said like, yeah, the player, like, we're not going to be testing for pot. And I think
he was just here 10 years too early.
Yeah. I think they even quietly added that as like a thing that they're doing moving forward, that they're just pulling that kind of from the drug policy. Yeah.
And then I think like the coolest thing, and I don't think he really needed to do it, but it just goes to show on his character. And this needs a source. I just read it one time and I took it for truth because I want to, because I love Larry Sanders. But in this interview, he talked about like how he felt guilty that he had all this money left on his contract and like there was hesitations about buying him out and stuff like that. So he just didn't take it. He just left. He just like, he's like, I didn't fulfill my end of it. Yeah. That's like he did. Not a lot of guys would have that. He was honorably discharged. Yeah. And it fucking sucks because I loved him. Like he could have been. Right, hey, never say never, man. Crazier things have happened.
How ironic is it that Chandler Parsons is telling us about the honorable thing to do with an NBA contract?
Guys, you won't get this anywhere else. That was sharp, dude. Very nice.
I mean, no. Chandler Parsons earned every dollar of that Grizzlies contract and Mavericks contract. Or I guess it's the same, one and the same. Anyway, I'm not trying to derail Jesse's top five.
No,
I mean Chandler's top five.
And number one, I have a prop for it. Tanner, I wonder if you remember this.
Let's go.
T-Mac.
All-time legend.
God, I love T-Mac. Have you seen him recently? Dude's looking good.
Oh yeah, dude.
He's got the like touch of gray in the goatee.
Well, like let's marinate on T-Mac because I think to Jesse's credit, Jesse has been loyal
to the soil, dude.
No.
Loyal till the soil.
Loyal to the soil that his feet are on.
Yeah. No, that's true too.
He went through a lot of places.
But Jesse, I can't speak for Bailey because is Reggie your favorite all-time player, bro?
Yeah.
Well, I guess you committed to him very early. Jesse committed to T-Mac so early.
Probably
and
year one Magic, and then I went back and looked at like Raptors highlights, and I was like, I actually liked the way he played. Like he was a power forward, I think, when he came in, and he was like blocking shots forward, and then he turned into this like elite scorer that created offense and he was like a triple-double threat before getting triple-doubles was like part of the NBA.
Yeah.
Triple-double trouble, as some jersey cards would say.
Famous.
Yeah. That I don't have.
Yes. But I just want to say that you deserve credit for that because, like, what was his first year in the Magic? 01? And that you would have been like 10 years old at that time. And you have, at that point, you were like, T-Mac is my favorite. And your commitment to him has not wavered once since you were a child. And, I commend you for that because, I mean, anyway, I just wanted to give that intro because I want you to get to talk about T-Mac for a little bit because you love T-Mac more than, a lot of people I know love any player. And you deserve like credit for being such a good, like, I wish you could beat T-Mac because I know.
Oh my God.
I need to shut the fuck up because you're the T-Mac fan here. Let me shut
up. Yeah, like it was tough to see like when he left the Magic, because I actually liked the Magic. He went to the Rockets. I hate the Rockets. Always have hated the Rockets. Never will like the Rockets. And then they got Yao, and you guys can speak to this. Not a fan of Yao at all.
I remember those years. Has any of that changed in retrospect?
No, at all.
Still not a Yao guy. Dude. All right, I know what the Christmas present's going to be. Yao replica, kids medium.
And just like his knee injuries, and I just remember my like just blind optimism that he'll bounce right back. Like he'll be right back to where he was.
Never give up on him.
And I mean, he had flashes after his knee injuries that it was the old T-Mac, but like it was just a steady decline. And when he started to bounce around and he went to, the Knicks, the Pistons, and then he went to the Spurs.
ATL.
Yeah, Atlanta. How hot was it seeing him in a Knicks jersey though?
Oh my God, dude. And he was having some big games when
he was
one
solid there.
I'll be real with you. Like being in this friend group, like I get emotionally invested in your guys' favorite players. Like, you know, especially like the T-Mac thing, because T-Mac's story was so crazy with him. Just like, here we have this transcendent, once in a generation, all-time great who just like his body's failing him. And he did so much for so many teams. And he just, you know, it was just the tragic. It's almost like the Damian Lillard. It's like nothing ever broke right for him.
Yeah.
And his body broke down before he could really get to the point where he deserved. And then it's like, when is he going to come back? We don't know where he's going to come back, when he's going to pop up. Is he okay? What's he going to look like? He comes back for the Knicks and he's setting the garden on fire. That was one of my favorite moments as a basketball fan. Was those first games where he was back.
Dude, I took him in fantasy that year, like in a late flyer round, because I was like, I have to have T-Mac on my fantasy team, or else I am not a fan of T-Mac. And I remember I was just like blown away. Like, I mean, he's not playing like a top 5 rounds pick, but he's playing like a mid-round.
Give me some value. Give me some value. No, he's one of the players like again, your love for T-Mac has made everybody in our friend group have a love for T-Mac. I love T-Mac. Like if we were to look at like the top 5 players from NBA history that I wish I could pluck out of like if you simulated T-Mac's career 1,000 times, I feel like we got one of the worst 50 outcomes. Just bad fucking luck. He's so incredible, dude, and it just felt like it never clicked. He got never got the right like collection of talent around him.
Or I wish talent around him in Orlando with Grant Hill always being hurt.
Yeah, I mean, he's one guy I wish you could just, I don't know, restart his career, restart the timer and see how it plays out, because he was incredible, man.
And that spawned my hatred for the Jazz. Like, it was always the Jazz.
Always.
The Jazz always took them out of the playoffs. And
motherfuckers, dude.
Not the Magic, the Rockets, but it just and those were the years where they had the best teams. And
exactly.
Yao couldn't stay healthy, and T-Mac would miss a game because back spasms, and it was just like, just something break right. And it was really heartwarming to see him in the finals with the Spurs and even get some minutes, you know, like I think he got like a couple rebounds and an assist, and I was just like, I was so amped up that he was getting stats in a finals appearance. And I was really torn though, because it's like, I'm a huge LeBron fan. Like, he's my secret number one, but you don't count it.
To all the viewers, LeBron is all of our favorite player.
Yeah.
And but to something we alluded to in an earlier episode, Bailey watching the Pacers have to duel LeBron in the Eastern Conference like playoffs, like that was a struggle for Bailey. Jesse had to watch LeBron like literally coming off his first title, like still like all three of us wanting LeBron to like cement his legacy and like win these titles and do great things. But then Jesse on the other side has his favorite all-time player sitting here on his like, it was
last
pretty
shot,
clear, like,
really
his last shot. And if you watch, and we've all seen it, Ray Allen hitting the shot in Game 6. Like, I believe T-Mac was sitting on the bench like this.
Yep.
He knew shit was about to, because it's the story of his career. He always gets fucked. And I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm glad you mentioned that, Jesse, because then you hear the stories too. That like I think we talked about a lot at the time because it was so cool. But the Popovich was employing T-Mac to kind of simulate LeBron in practice, because T-Mac's like a player, even in the twilight of his career, could place, like, his passing was another T-Mac. One of
my God,
for my money, one of the best passers in this generation. And like, it's like the Spurs had all these great players, and T-Mac is the only person they could use to simulate LeBron and like prepare for LeBron. And like, that's just another anecdote of T-Mac that's just like a legendary thing.
That's the stat, late career T-Mac. That's the stat I always wanted to check, is his assists. Like, I don't care if he's scoring 25 points. Yeah, if he did, I'd be like, oh, cool. You know, T-Mac dropped some threes. Because it wasn't around the rim late career. I actually watched him get rim stuffed one time. And that was tough. Like, that day. That hurt.
Can we cut that? Can we?
Not happening, dude.
But I always watched his assists because I always valued his passing, as like he was always known for an elite scorer. But the dude averaged like 5 or 6 assists a game.
I mean, his prime, dude, was he's unreal.
I just remember like watching that, and like I don't want to downplay the Pacers one, because I know that stung for you, Bailey. I was there. talk about the jersey switch, legendary. But I was there and I know it sucked. But man, I felt like a pang, like a knife in my fucking chest. Like that was it. That was his last chance. And like I wanted so badly LeBron to like cement his legacy and be widely regarded as the greatest of all time, and like to get his respect that I thought he was due. But like I could not.
At the expense of T-Mac though.
Yeah. Well, that's just
the thing. Like I could not, like I was trying to weigh the options, and like at the end of the day, like I would have rather have had T-Mac get his ring, man. Like I would have literally bawled watching him get his ring.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So that one, and it sucks to say, because it's like saying anything against LeBron is like so sacrilege for me. You know, it's like I can't even force the words out of my mouth, but like I can't go against my guy. You know, like there's one thing to be invested in an organization, but like to put all of that into one singularity of a player and travel, like follow him wherever he goes and just want him to be successful on what it's like a LeBron. Like I'm not a fan of the Lakers. I wasn't a fan of the Cavaliers. I wasn't a fan of the Heat. I'm a fan of LeBron. Mm-hmm. So God, it just hurt, man. And it's like it still hurts thinking about it. I fucking hate it, dude.
The reason that hurts so much more than the Pacers is like when the Pacers lost back Eastern Conference Finals, was like still felt like they were very much on the up and up. It's different when a guy like there were no bones about it. It wasn't like T-Mac was 26 and this was his first bite at the apple. You know, this was last, or you know, if
his
you're being optimistic, the second. Yeah. I mean, it was his last shot. So yeah, I hope I'm never faced with that prospect. That's tough.
Well, let's, you know, I want to also mention another thing about T-Mac. Like, obviously, we have the 13 points in 45 seconds with the Rockets, like one of the most legendary performances of all time. But I want to mention, you know, because we need to touch on all this T-Mac stuff. Like, T-Mac is a legendary player who I hope that generations down the road recognize T-Mac for what he was. And another thing, you know, this has kind of been a theme in this podcast. This episode has been like, you know, talking about Allen Iverson and how he's like, to a certain generation, it's AI. When you talk about impact and for the culture and like how he played and what he meant, you look at like all those guys from the T-Max generation, all the perimeter players, and like you see the interviews all the time. And they ask,
he's the one they were afraid of.
Who's the hardest to guard? Kobe said it. I'd be willing to bet, like, if you look hard enough, you'd find so many players say, I didn't want to fucking guard T-Mac. T-Mac is the hardest guard in the league.
Well, in the era of slow it down ISO ball, he was the one. He was the one.
There was no one better. And then
he was so much better than everyone else at it.
Yeah, and then like you look at it now, it's like KD, I would argue the greatest scorer of all time. Like he like talks about, you know, how he, you know, looked at T-Mac's game as like something to behold, and like T-Mac literally is just like such a fulcrum when it comes to, you know, inspiring a new generation, but also like flying under the radar in a way, just because of like, you know, the crappy situations he was placed in at times. And it's just like, he is a player that no matter how much credit you give him, it's not enough to me.
Well, and also, I don't know how we haven't mentioned this. He was so cool, dude. T-Mac was such the coolest effing basketball player.
Talk about swagger,
dude. Nobody made it look so fucking
Orlando
easy.
T-Mac,
That's the thing.
Was a different level.
And he was shoe line, dude.
He was the most athletic guy in the gym, the most skilled guy in the gym. Looked like he didn't give a fuck and would just kill you. He's nuts, dude. He's one of a kind.
Just like even the shape of his shot when he would go up and the leg would fade out, dude.
Dude, effortlessly cool.
Not to mention, it was like a sniper rifle coming from a downward angle. Yeah. Well, and like, I don't know, watching that motherfucker start heating it up is just.
Also, the best mixtape on YouTube is of T-Mac.
Yes. Hey, here's another plug. Google, or anybody watching this, YouTube, Eve Satisfaction, Tracy McGrady. I'm sure it'll pop up.
I think there's a Russell Westbrook one that's quite a bit better, but I don't know.
Okay, go fuck yourself, dude. Wait,
come on, blood, sweat. I'm gonna drop off this call, dude. Fuck all you guys.
Have you watched that? Have you watched the Eve Satisfaction T-Mac mix?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then why aren't you giving it some credit, dude?
Because, dude, it's different when you got skin in the game, dog. It's different. It's a little different.
What was next? Favorite on-court, favorite
What are your happiest memory? You're just real quick. If you overthink it and forget something, it's not a big deal. But what's your favorite like encore memory, and then your favorite as a viewer?
And then let me mention this with the off court. Give us one LeBron and give us one lot. No, give us a non-LeBron one, a non-T-Mac one, and then you know if you want to give us a T-Mac one, a LeBron one, and then one that's none of those.
I have a quick list, and they're not in order.
Okay.
So my favorite on court is, I mean, there's literally too many. We played basketball for thousands of hours, and it's full of memories. But here's a couple that are like pretty vivid. Is I remember I took a charge on the gravel one time, just trying to win the game. We were playing like one-on-one tournaments, I believe, right? In their gravel driveway, and I was playing against one of our buddies. Was it Lombard at that time? Probably. And I took a charge.
Give him the full shout out. Hey, we give shout outs.
Mike Duran.
Mike Duran, Mike Lombard. And the person that wasn't playing was reffing, so there could be fouls called. And I took a charge and I split my elbow open, and I got the call.
Earned it, dude. You earned it.
Earned the call. So that sticks in my head.
How hot is that? How hot is that? One of Jesse's favorite memories is drawing a charge
in 1v1 basketball on a 9-foot hoop in a dingy driveway with gravel. Real hoopers know.
That's a hooper shit right there.
One like of me like playing in high school, the Browning game. I went off that game.
Curry in his math.
I shot 5 for 6 from 3. I shot like 8 for 11 or 8 for 10 from the field. I had a fast break block off the glass. That was
dude, that should have been put on Ball is Life, dude. That's like a
seriously, right. Dude. 5-star fucking prospect.
The block was just that one like sent me over the edge. I was like, I am on cloud 9 right now.
Putting it off the glass in a competitive game is like
that's crazy.
When we're our height, that's a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
Not to mention that was like later in the game, and there was like this was a JV game at the time. I think I was a freshman or a sophomore, I think. And it was later in the game, so all like the fans were there for the varsity game. So like the crowds are starting to like stands are starting to fill up. It was awesome.
Wait a second. Was that go, bro? Go.
Well, no, I sorry to just always make it about me, but do you want to hear the opposite of that? The flip side, the most embarrassing version of that story?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Homecoming game. We were playing Harden. I'm on the fast break. Kyle gets it to me. I'm going way too fast. Guy blocks it clean. I get the foul call. I was like, thank God. I was like, this is a disaster. He got it clean. Everybody knew it was clean. I go on the line, hit the first one, bank the second, get booed by the enemy fans. It was the Harden. So there was like all their people show up to like their away game. So I was homecoming game, huge possession. I think it put us up 3, and I was getting just booed out of the building for banking a free throw.
You hit 2 clutch free throws?
Yeah.
Bullshit. I didn't see the box score.
That's the thing. What the fuck? It was obviously clean. It was embarrassing that I was at the line and I had to live with the shame of like, okay, you got
2 free throws, dude. Jesus
but to
Christ.
Bank one?
I don't care. I can't believe you hit 1, to be honest with you.
Hey man, a bucket's a bucket for me. I'm not.
You deserve credit, dude. I'm trying to give you credit, but let's not overlook the fact that so far Jesse's top 2 on-court memories, or his top 2 involve defense.
Hot, Jay Smith. Yeah,
you'll like my next one then. This one's really vivid to me too. Do you remember when I missed some basketball because I had plantar warts and I had to get them like dug out of my foot, and I missed like half the season? Well, I finally got released to play, but I could only play. I was on a minutes restriction.
Hot.
Which, come on,
some of that Zion shit.
Seriously, dude.
So we go to Billings Central. Bryden Box, the coach. Shout out to Brad.
Shout out to Bobby Keel.
And we're at Billings Central, and they've got this dude that's like 6'7", but weighs like $110, and he's just like playing high post, little baby hook shots, torching us. I didn't play the first half. I beg Breidenbach to put me in. He puts me in. I'm guarding this dude. I've got weight on him. He's got height on me, but I can jump. I'm athletic. And in a half, I get 6 block shots, and I like shut this fucking dude down.
Oh, you are Josh Smith, dude. Just more evidence.
when I get done,
Seriously.
when we get back to the locker room, I take my shoes off. My feet are soaked in blood, dude. Like
Oh,
I
Kurt
was not
Schilling,
ready.
dog.
I was not ready to play, and I was
That's some
so
Bill
like,
Russell shit. Dude.
Seriously,
I was
dude.
so fixated on like shutting
Shutting him down, dude.
because I was like, I can block this guy's shot. Like I can do it. And he tried like 3 times on that. Like it was literally like 3 plays in a row. He got to the high post, baby hook, I blocked it. And then he tried to do like other stuff and like fake it and go, and I just kept blocking his shots. And like I held him to like nothing in the second.
When those big guys have that robotic move, you literally have like they need to control alt delete, restart the program because they'll just keep like if they've never been challenged on it. That some dudes, that's all they effing know, dude.
Yeah.
That's so hot. Come in, take that personally, play through the pain, shut his ass down, dude.
That's
legend.
I have a list. So I'm sorry, it's gonna run long. I'm sorry, but
we're already long, dog.
Yeah, we always go long.
General dunk ball, that was awesome.
The best.
Just every memory was awesome. And then there was one day, Tanner, you and I were like frustrated with the dunk contest because we were like, how can they not come up with new dunks? And we were like, how hard is that? And we went out into the carport and like literally for an hour, we came up with like completely new dunks and like tried to master them. And like, we were getting them down. I remember we did one where it was like low, underhand toss off the glass. You catch with one hand up here and like you scoop under. And like, we did that one. We did the one off the glass where you like catch it off the glass and then rebounce it off the glass and dunk it.
That's so funny because that's what people are actually doing that now. And like we had done that a while ago. I mean, I'll be on like 8 foot hoop.
Yeah, I was gonna put in a disclaimer. It's like an 8 foot hoop.
Yeah, doesn't matter. We're kids. But like that stands out to me because it was just so fun, like to come up and like try to come up with unique dunks and actually do it and actually get them down. Because we would try dunks for hours and we couldn't get them, and then our legs would just give out and we were like, all right, we're done.
Yeah.
Couple on court ones, like just playing in high school. There's one in junior high. We were playing Haver. There's 2 against Haver.
Can I pause you, Jesse? I want to talk about a dunking one. And this wasn't really a dunking one, but I remember Highland Park was a house close to my brother and I's school, close to my brother and I's house. And they had like 7 foot rims, I think.
No, they're taller than that. Yeah, like 8.
Back in the day, maybe they're smaller. But I remember Jesse and I were, both at that point in our lives, both roughly the same height, same athleticism. And I don't know if you remember this, Jesse. This is one of my most distinct memories. It was snow. It was during the winter, so it was snow out. And I think JJ West was there for some fucking reason. Shout out to
deep cut. Shout out to JJ West. Yo, shouts out to JJ West.
Jesse and I were, and I hope, and if I'm wrong on this memory, Jesse, don't correct me because this is how I want to remember it. Was we were at the point where we couldn't touch the rim yet, or we were getting close to being able to touch the rim. And we were out there jumping until the sun went down, trying to grab the rim. And I remember we were like trying to get our fingers like just that first knuckle above. And I remember not being able to get it. And I think you might have grabbed it once or twice, but that's how the memory is to me. And that's one of my favorite memories ever. Is just like, like you said,
I remember that.
We're just going to keep doing this until our legs oops out because we just love this so much. Anyway, please go on with your list. I'm sorry.
There was this was junior high. We were playing at the Civic Center. And we were playing Haver, and they literally had to like adjust their defense because like who was Scott Sparks? He was my coach. He had this play set up that was like coming off a double screen, like elbow, like 15-foot shot, and I couldn't miss it.
You're CJ McCollum, dude.
In the zone?
It was like 16 points in the first half, and I missed like 1 shot. And I was just on fire. And then second half they like made an adjustment, and then I fizzled out. But like just to be like having that moment where you're like, I'm getting whatever I want, and it was amazing.
J-Man, sorry to just keep interrupting.
No, you're fine. I can't hear you.
Yeah, talk again.
Like the mysticism of the zone as a shooter.
Talk about it.
No, do you believe in that?
Oh,
do you
absolutely.
think there is like that an
Absolutely.
additional mental plane?
It's almost like you become robotic, where like the arm motions, how high you have to jump, where you have to release, what part of the rim you have to look at, how everything feels, and before it leaves your fingertips, like when you catch it in the pocket, when you start to go up, it's like
dude, it's all feel. Ain't that the truth?
That was like the Browning game, like everything. every shot, I was like, that's not touching the rim. That's just bottom of the net.
Money.
And then I have one half court shot that I hit. You got to put that in there. That was pretty dope.
Shout out to all the motherfuckers still heaving.
Yeah. It banked.
True.
It banked,
Don't
but
matter.
it went in.
Don't matter.
Those are my favorite like on court memories that I have. Like
that's a
list. Good list, dude. That's a very good list.
I got worse at shooting the older I got. Like when I was I had a pure stroke when I was like junior high, like early high school.
Put more shots up then, dude. That's all it is.
That's true.
Yeah,
I do have one more that Bailey witnessed, and I didn't really put much into it until Bailey said something about it. We were playing at Mike Spence's Lockwood High School, and I think I caught a pass or something, and I froze the ball behind me, and like on a half spin move, and like stumbled Evan, and I don't know. I tried to remember the exact movement I did, but I can't really quite think of it. It just felt fluid and natural.
I feel like, Jesse, one of your moves that you do very well is kind of that CP3 half spin, then come back behind through your legs behind.
Yeah.
Like you're like twisting your body like you could do behind the back pass, but then you go under your legs and come back around and kind of follow through the move. I feel like
I can picture that so perfectly in my head,
Jesse
him doing
move, yeah.
that. Yeah, that is like the Jesse, actually.
Okay,
that's crazy.
JP3, dude.
JP.
I just remember like, because you were sitting right there and you were like, that was cold. And I like started to think about it and I was like, I never would have noticed it. It was like fluid in the motion of the game. And yeah, I just like kind of cupped the ball here and like caught it and like stopped it on a half spin and like faced up again. And like, it kind of shook Evan a little bit, but
hey. Evan's a good defender too.
Yeah. He plays hard.
Yeah. Shouts out to Evan May, EJ May.
And then I just have a couple passes that I made that I thought were pretty cool.
Well, get into them. Let's talk to him, dude.
I feel like I don't want to go way too long, but there was one. Steve, it was to Stephen Moody is who it was.
Yeah, you want to talk about Tony McDice in this match?
Oh God, the real McDice, dude.
White McDice.
Seriously.
So we're kind of running like transition offense where we got, I think we're playing like 2-on-2, but on the break. And I'm on the right side running. I catch a pass at half court and I take a couple dribbles and I'm running up and I see out of the corner of my eye, like the one like it's a 2-on-2. So Steven's like right with me. A defender's like closing out on me as I'm getting close to I'm not even to the 3-point line yet, but he's like coming up to get me. And this guy's coming to get Steven. Well, Steven like gets his left leg in front and like kind of gets a seal and he's like still running though. And I just like in motion, like bounce pass behind my defender, like leading Steven. He catches it.
You
just goes, yeah, he just like catches it, goes up off the glass. And I remember I get like they call a timeout or something, or Breidenbach said something. He was like, that was a slick pass. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like nice. You don't notice it when you're in the like in the motion of the game, in the like, fluidity of the game. You don't notice some of the things you do it because it just feels so natural. Like when you thread a needle on a pass, sometimes it just feels like you made a pass.
Well, yeah, it's like this is the play I wanted to do. I made like, the pass. Like
from your POV, like that's the lane. That's what I envisioned. He cut, I hit. Like it didn't seem special.
Yeah, what's the big
from
deal?
Like from the outside's perspective, like you have to like they see it as like, oh shit, that was good.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like we notice it with camera angles, but like the angle of your vision can drastically distort, like you said, something that you felt was kind of like, yeah, it was a fine pass, but like could look fucking crazy from a different angle.
Yeah. And then Derek Bartel hitting me for a game winner, also against Havard.
That was the baseline one, right?
Yeah, that was the baseline one. I had my awareness though on the court at the time was dog shit. I didn't think it was a game winner. I didn't know how much time was left.
Classic Damian.
That's
clock's running, motherfucker. Wake up.
Josh Smith again. I feels like some
boom.
Josh Smith for me.
Yeah.
Like I had no idea how much time was left. I didn't know the fucking score. I just remember like we're both running. It's a 2-on-1. I'm like, well, Derek's gonna shoot. So I like leaked out to baseline.
Derek Bartel.
I like leaked out to baseline on the left side of the hoop. And I was like my momentum was still going baseline, and he hits me at the pass and he like caught me off guard. And I'm like, well, I'm open and I'm fading out of bounds and I can't pass to Derek. So I just went up and like shot. and I like literally landed out of bounds and it went in, and then the
Dang.
buzzer went off and we had won by 1. And I was like,
Crazy.
oh,
Dude.
Blacked out, hot.
probably should have known that was happening.
Now that's
like you were
zone.
like,
you lose all concept of time and space.
Yeah. I like run back on defense, like, nah, game's over. Wrap it up.
slap the deck. Bah!
Now it's like my favorite, just like being a fan. Some of these take with a grain of salt because it's just the memory around it is one of them's Malice at the Palace, man. Like watching that live at your grandparents' house. I remember we were in the trailer that happened. And we were just like in shock. And like we understood at that young age, like how severe that was. Like that was a huge deal. But that has always I would never forget where I was.
Also,
when I was watching that.
This is gonna be little brother stuff in Inside Baseball. I was there. You guys pulled me out of that back bedroom when I was playing video games. I came and watched with you guys, and you always said I didn't watch it. I was there, dude.
You're not part of my memory. It's just Tanner.
Fuck you guys, dude.
We may have played bingo that night too. I don't know.
Good chance of that. Highly likely.
Yeah, highly likely. This one, just because like the special place it has in my heart is just watching the finals in the hospital.
Yep.
Never forget that ever. Like talk about an emotional
all-timer.
toll. You're getting it from all angles right there. And then some of my favorite, like LeBron wants to watch the block on Curry, the block on Iguodala, the block on Curry because he like turned his back and said like little bitch or something like that.
I was gonna ask you guys, like, if like you see all these trash talking moments, like that's the one. If I could pay an amount of money to know what was said when he looked back at him, just like that look at disgust, and I would pay money to know.
I've never seen a more disrespectful look on somebody's face than right there. It was just like, I can't believe you had the fucking audacity to try that.
I love how much they hated each other at that time. Yeah, honestly, it was good. It was good for basketball. It's good for sports.
Yeah. And then of course the one on Iguodala, like that one was just
that. I mean, that's like maybe the peak of all three of our
God tier.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
J-Man, do you remember when he tried to come down jamming on Draymond? Do you remember that? And he got fouled and it looked like he like broke his wrist. Dude, talk about if there's one play I could change in NBA, that might be the one. It'd be totally gratuitous, but I don't fucking care. Wouldn't change anything.
Dude, the energy in that room would have registered on the fucking Richter scale. That would have been fucking insane.
If that dunk goes down, that's the unquestioned probably the greatest play in the history of sports.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it would have been the greatest sequence because that was immediately following.
Well, yeah, no. But that's whole, like, you take the context because like that play in its own right, it's not going to be better than like a Miles Bridges dunk.
Yeah.
But well, debatable. That was pretty gnarly.
Hot fucking dunk. Yeah,
that was pretty fucking gnarly.
Then this one, just like this one was just like the intensity, like actually feeling intimidated was Game 6 Celtics 2015. Like just watching that and like understanding, like he was so intense with what he was doing.
Wait,
and so
we're talking about Heat LeBron.
Yeah, Heat LeBron games.
Is that 2012, right?
Oh, it's 2015. Oh wait. 2015 is my next one. Sorry, I'm going into the next one.
No, that's got to be 2012.
2012, Game 6 against the Celtics, because God, I hated the Celtics.
At that point,
I still hate Paul Pierce. Still hate Paul Pierce.
Well, his whole career was on the line with that game.
Yeah, and I just remember like the look in his fucking eyes and like watching it. Like, you can never put yourself in somebody's shoes, but he put everybody watching that game in his fucking shoes right there. Like,
well, it was
all felt it.
It was a wire to wire one man.
Yeah.
Usually it's a team. That was one man, a wire to wire. Just
and literally from the moment that game started to the moment that it was out of hand and they took him out of the game, it was that look. It was that.
Yeah.
Literally, he was like a serial killer with a basketball.
Yeah. It was like no high fives, no nothing. Like, don't fuck with LeBron. He's doing his shit. He's in the zone.
I don't think we'll ever I'm sure we'll see somebody someday who does some of the things LeBron did. I don't think anybody will be able to do something like that.
He transcended like physical fucking energy. It was insane.
The only way you can get to that point is if you unfairly have your whole life's work put on trial.
Yeah.
Like the way his was.
Dude,
nobody else can unlock that because nobody else has the same has had the same story as him. It's impossible that situation ever even pops up again.
Yeah, people talk about Kobe being an assassin. Like LeBron, that was the biggest assassin game I've ever seen in my life.
Well, so remember that video like where Christopher Walken's talking about the King? It shouldn't have been used for the Warriors. It should have been used right there. Like Lions are like nipping at his toes, and sometimes he has to get up and just remind everybody who the fuck he is. Like that right there. God, like I'm literally getting goosebumps just thinking about that, dude.
If we can get as specific, if you're picking one player for one game, I'd pick LeBron from that game over anybody ever in the history. Like, I don't know, just his mentality going into that game is it was do or die for him, and I think he fucking meant it. Like, I'm going to do this or I'm going to die.
I've never seen like that much of a physical manifestation of like will, and it seemed like frustration.
Oh God, pouring out
targeted frustration. Like I'm gonna dump all my frustration into this one performance.
Yeah. It was unbelievable. Like I've never seen like an energy emanate and just like aura from somebody like that in my entire life in any field with anything.
But and to be able to control and force your will on both sides of the ball with those stakes. All right.
That picture you always see where he's leaning over and looking up, and you can just barely see the under whites of his eyes. Ugh.
Yeah, dude, that's like the image I think of when I think of game 6. The next one was and this is also a LeBron one. The 2015 finals. I know the Cavs lost, but they had Kyrie, I believe, for game 1.
Yep.
And then he went down.
Hurt in overtime. Yep.
But
K-Love nowhere to be found.
He fucking drugged them like by the napes of their necks to 6 games. Yeah. They lost 4-2. And like even the games that they lost, like
close.
He like that was right there where, and I know this is a little late to the punch, but that's really where I was like, this man is truly like great. He is something beyond what has ever been witnessed in basketball.
True.
And that was the moment right there that was like unfucking believable. A team like the Warriors that is unfathomably good is struggling with one person.
Yeah.
And to like Bailey mentioned, if you could change one play in NBA history, him, like Bailey mentioned LeBron dunking on Draymond. I think it was game 1 when Shumpert shot that like errant like fling at the end that would have won the game in regulation of game 1. If that would have went in, the Cavs could have conceivably went up in that series 2-0 against like
Kyrie wouldn't have got hurt.
Yeah. Who knows how that breaks if Shumpert makes that like fluky just like fling shot. I'd have to rewatch the highlight, but like But then again, like I almost feel like, I would have rather have the more titles the better for LeBron, but I almost feel like 2016 wouldn't have been as special if they would have won in 2015.
Yeah.
Because like 2016 was like fuck.
The release, dude. When they finally won, the release was just it was like you just felt drained. Like, oh my God.
To be a
hero, just cried alone in a basement. That's how I deal with that. The best day of my life.
And like the best stories about heroes are the ones where they get knocked down. And so like to get beat by the Warriors that first time, even though I was bullshit, because like Jesse said, it was literally like Mozgov, Shumpert was hurt, Dellavedova and LeBron, and it's like you got these guys against the greatest dynasty, or maybe not the greatest dynasty, but the greatest team of all time. I don't care what anybody says, that Warriors team from like 2015 to 2018 is the greatest team of all time. In my opinion.
Yeah, I don't. And anybody who argues otherwise, I feel like they're arguing in bad faith, if we're being honest.
That was that was crazy. And then like one T-Mac one, obviously the 13 points in 45 seconds, because that was just like inhuman. Like
one of the wildest things.
I don't think that'll ever be done again. That's like fucking nuts.
When you're down, well, they weren't down by 13 because I think the Spurs actually scored some points.
They made a few free throws in that.
Yeah, but like it's almost like he just kicked it in overdrive. Like, no, we're not losing this game. It was a regular season game, I believe.
And how many? I mean, was Jeff Van Gundy the coach at the time? If so, credit to him for keeping the stars on the court. Like, that was
seriously never give up.
There's less than a minute left. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? And T-Mac, like, to his credit, like, how many people just check out of games? Like, we love LeBron. it's sacrilegious to speak against LeBron, but you'll see him mentally check out of games in a like a regular season game that's like a little bit out of hand. Like T-Mac was like, no, fuck this.
Well, and I'm sure T-Mac did as well, but that one game he was just like, no, and he went for it, and it worked out. And it was just, I remember at the time, I think he was Meta World Peace by now, but he got like the steal, like he was laying on the ground and like got the ball, and like there was like an errant pass that like T-Mac caught and like buried like a 33-foot three. And that when he hit that, I was like, all right, like this could happen. And the crazy thing is, like, watching that, when they got the ball like on a defensive rebound or after the 2 free throws, T-Mac was like right there, like, give me the ball. And when he crossed half court, there was no fucking doubt on the opponent's team, on his team, that T-Mac's going to pull up and shoot a 3, and they couldn't stop him. Like, it was just bang, bang, bang game. And it was just wild.
And like, it should be pointed out, his reaction after he hits that one to go ahead, and he just like completely just goes Super Saiyan, like LeBron in the 2015 finals when they won game 2 and he spiked the ball, and he's just like, you see literally every ounce of emotion just pour out of him.
God.
Like,
that just tells me he had more energy to give, dude. Another one is I really like when T-Mac punted the ball out of frustration into the crowd.
Nice.
Yeah,
take the good with the bad.
Yeah,
that was the good with the good.
Yeah,
true,
right.
True.
That was legend.
Good call. Good call, J-Man. Dang.
Yeah, I think those are my favorite ones, man. Just like watching that, like, bring back the most vivid memories of like just watching games and like being like fully invested. Like, because a lot of times when I have basketball on, I'm doing other things, or like I'm watching the game, but I'm not, like, when playoffs and finals come around, I'm invested when I'm watching. But those are the ones where it's like somebody could be having a conversation right here, and I'm just like zoned, like I'm in.
Yeah.
So
right.
Those are my favorite moments.
No, man, I can't thank you enough for coming on here and sharing that. That's wow, you just upped the ante. You blew our introductions out of the water. So yeah.
I hope to be a regular appearance.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, you're the first guest, dude. You're the inaugural, dude.
I do have Mondays. I open Mondays. I'm off at 5 every
easy
time,
peasy, dude. Well, you guys might be seeing some more of the J-Man, not only in the comments now, not only lurking now. Put a face to the name. Well, I guess, I don't know. We've probably covered
Parsons to you, asswipe.
Yeah.
Where can they find you on the socials, Chandler?
C Parsons _
Don't have it. Yeah.
We've probably gone way over on time. I don't know, is there any other ground you guys want to cover? I feel pretty happy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad we got to talk about some of the old and some of the new tonight. It was good.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Plus, we got the clickbait. We got clickbait now too. Damian Lillard trade rumors with Chandler Parsons.
The clickbait
with Chandler, with special guest Chandler Parsons.
Yeah, dude. We have to create a fake Chandler Parsons Twitter and start posting breaking news from it, dude.
Chandler Parsons spotted in Montana. What does this mean for his recovery?
Fresh air does wonders for him, man.
Dude, he's rehabbing on some gravel courts on some 8.5-foot hoops.
Yeah.
That motherfucker probably couldn't dunk an 8.5-foot hoop with his knees.
Okay. Chill out,
6'9".
dude.
Jesus.
Haters. You just gonna take that, dude? Come on.
I may not be able to dunk on an 8.5-foot hoop right now, dude.
Take it from Chandler, dude.
Breaking news. Like TMZ, we're coming for your fucking neck. All right, let's call it an evening.
All right, well, J-Man, do you want to sign us off as this is your first appearance on the show?
How do you guys sign off? I don't remember.
I don't
Just
know.
hit
Do
it,
whatever
dog,
you want.
any way you want.
Thanks for listening. Chandler Parsons out.
Fuck yeah, dude.